back and we want to be a bit more thoughtful. So I would love to encourage everyone listening that in 2024, every time you need to buy a gift for someone else, buy it from a small business. Chances are you're going to come up with something a little bit more unique, a little bit more thoughtful, but it's also sort of a fun way to actually have a habit of buying from a small business at those special moments when you want to do something nice for someone else. So that would be number one. Number two, and I really think this is important, I think we've all, myself included, become far too comfortable sitting at home by ourselves with our computers. Once a week, go to a local restaurant or a local coffee shop. Even if you go by yourself, sit at the bar, sit at the counter, spend a little bit of money, even if you don't have a lot. I really understand that. But be in the community. One, your dollars will matter to the small business that you buy from. But two, it'll remind us of the humanity of that experience. And I believe that when we're reminded of it, we're going to want more of it. And then number three, I really believe, inflation has gone up, budgets are tight. I mean, I really sympathize with sort of the general challenge of just money and how we manage it. I just really believe that we might be called to a moment in time where less is more and quality matters more than quantity. And so I would just say, think about all the things that you find yourself buying a lot of. Maybe it's clothes, maybe it's toys for your kids, maybe it's home goods. And is it possible to just slightly rethink your buying philosophy where instead of just going for the quick fixes and the lots and lots of stuff, could you spend the same amount of money or maybe even less, buy fewer things, but buy them in a way that is more high quality and more high community?
Carissa, I love your viewpoint. I love those points, and I appreciate our conversation very much. Thank you for joining us on the Digital Desk. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
News 5. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. You are in our consumer hour. A lot of consumer news stories for you that you are going to enjoy. But before we get into more consumer news, got to get a check on that forecast with First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Today, keep an umbrella nearby. You may not need it all day long. There will be some periods of time where there won't be very much in the way of rainfall, but there will be other periods where it'll come down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Of course, this morning has been quite wet across the area, but we're running into a lull in the activity as we go through the coming hour. So rain chances will go down. Temperatures will ease back up through the middle 60s this afternoon. As we go through the overnight period and this evening, another uptick in rain chances will come as the last wave, the actual cold front itself, makes progress across the Mid-South heading towards the back end of the day into tonight. So there will be some rain and some storms to contend with in several different waves. And I want to reemphasize, not a one-size-fits-all forecast where it's going to rain across the board all day long. I don't think that's the case. The issue will be more so, again, periods of time where rain is going to be more dominant than other times, and then other times where it's going to be dry. It'll just be cloudy outside. But we can't rule it out that we can see an isolated gusty shower or storm. The chances are very low here today, and actually the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has removed the entire Action News 5 coverage area out of the slight and even the marginal risk, now down closer to the Jackson metropolitan area in Mississippi. That goes along with that idea of the warm front that's lifting northward, just not having a lot of success in getting too far to the north. It makes sense in this regard. Saturday looks to be quieter, drier as the storm system pushes off towards the east, and brighter skies on the way by Sunday. So let's go hour by hour with our First Alert Futurecast. Already starting to see things shutting down here across the Mid-South with the first wave of rain, but we've got another wave that will likely emerge as we head towards the afternoon hours. Some sporadic showers here and there, and then another wave develops as we head through this evening. See coming out of Arkansas. This will actually be closer to the cold front that will work its way across the area. Now again, can't rule it out. A gusty shower or storm. Can't rule it out here this afternoon into the early evening hours as the next wave kind of pivots across the area with more scattered showers and rumbles of thunder. That'll take us into the overnight period into the start of your Saturday. Again, temperatures today in the 60s through the course of your Friday. Tonight will drop down through the 50s. There will be still some lingering showers early Saturday morning, moving out, and eventually some clearing trends on the way, but it may take all day long for the clouds to begin to clear out, especially for if you live in places like Selmer and Corinth and Bolivar and Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford. I think it is going to be clouds all day long. Back to the west, Harrisburg, Colt, out towards Cherry Valley as well as Forest City. You might be able to catch a little sunshine before the sun goes down just after 6 p.m. Don't forget, we actually have a time change coming up Saturday night into Sunday, so you'll have to turn your clocks forward 1 hour. You don't want to be that person that's late to church walking down the aisle at an hour after church began. Of course, stay up to date with the weather information anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Morning shower, afternoon sun breaks possible, but it's going to be more clouds than not. Highs in the 50s with a chilly northwest wind flowing through here at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Today, the wind's a little breezy out of the south and east, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then we will turn cooler, but staying quiet. Sunday, mostly to partly sunny, highs in the middle and upper 50s, not looking half bad. Your 7-day forecast, again, rain and storms here today, off and on, continuing into the overnight period. Saturday, clouds early, some sun breaks for some late in the day, but I think most of us will just stay underneath the clouds through the majority of your day on Saturday. Fast forward, spring forward, Saturday night into Sunday, highs in the 50s, and here you go with the 60s and 70s on the way as we head towards early portions of next week. Germantown Half Marathon and Mayor's Cup 5K. There will be some road closures in Germantown that would include Wolf River Boulevard. Of course, given the situation with Germantown Road and Parkway, that area across the Wolf River with the bridge, this may cause some issues if you're going to be out and about early on your Saturday morning. But the Germantown Half Marathon, that will be throughout the morning hours. 7:30 is when things will kick off there. Temperatures in the 50s, a northwesterly wind coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to keep a small chance of a shower, but most of the rain should be out of the area by that point in time. 901 FC going up against Las Vegas, their home opener and season opener at AutoZone Park. The pitch may be a little moist after the soggy start to your Friday, and of course the next wave of rain that will likely impact the region going into the overnight period tonight, heading into Saturday. 3 p.m. Temperatures in the 50s and a northwesterly wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Things will start to calm down. You might see off in the distance, looking out to the west right before sunset, the clearing and the, of course, brighter skies. That will take us into your Sunday. Again, brighter skies there. High temperatures will top out in the upper 50s, mid 60s Monday. Don't forget Mississippi primary elections coming up on Tuesday. We kind of understand that on Tuesday, Mississippi, yeah, we already know the presidential election, but there are down ballot elections and primaries that will also be involved there. So again, you still need to get out there and vote in the primary elections on Tuesday. Again, that's for Mississippi. Arkansas and Tennessee already had their primary elections this past Tuesday. High near 70, low in mid 70s going into early next week. Getting ready for another chance for some rain and storms by the end of next week that could lead into St. Patrick's Day weekend. We'll watch that closely. Of course, the big parade here in Memphis. 2 p.m. on Saturday. Hopefully things are dry, but it looks to be a bit on the milder side, still in the 60s for highs by that point in time. But of course, we're still several days out. We'll keep you updated on that. Of course, stay weather aware with us today with the chances for rain and some rumbles of thunder rolling through the region. That will continue into tonight before the clearing trend into the overnight period.
Did you know that 64% of Americans typically abandon their New Year's resolution within the first month? That doesn't surprise me at all. And you know what's at the top of the list typically? It has to deal with getting in shape, and it also has to deal with your financial shape. You got to get in your financial shape. And so many people just abandon this after that first month. Well, it's time to get back on track when it comes to your finances. And here to help us out is the founder of the Fiscal Femme. We are joined now by Ashley Feinstein Gersley. Thank you for joining us, Ashley. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
No, I appreciate it. So let's talk about the number one tip to getting our budgets back on track. It is, it is February, it's mid-February. Maybe some people have lost track of their New Year's resolutions. How do we get it back on track, Ashley?
My number one tip is to purge expenses that you won't miss or aren't using, and to clean up the finances. Look at what you spent so far this year. Are there subscriptions that you aren't using or completely forgot about? Or maybe there are expenses that aren't adding much value or happiness to your life. We want to let go of those expenses first.
Always good advice. I mean, it's like we have to pay off all of our bills from the holiday season, and it's like, oh, we need a way to get back on track. There are a lot of tools out there to make sure that we're spending properly, that our spending is in order. Are there any that you would recommend, Ashley?
Just like you said with the holidays, sometimes we need some time to pay things off. So we want to make our finances flexible. I've partnered with a firm and I recommend them because they offer a transparent way to pay over time on your own schedule on anything from last minute travel expenses, home essentials, electronics, and even car repair without the hidden fees or compound interest that you might find with credit cards.
Good advice there. And, I've heard this before that people like a high credit score. In fact, they find it sexy if your finances are in order. And we saw this in a new survey out that financial stability is sexy. Tell me more.
Yes, if you needed one more reason to stick with your money resolutions, financial stability is sexy. A recent survey from a firm showed that consumers are prioritizing finances in their relationship. And actually, the majority, 3 out of 4, say that financial stability is a turn on. So if you are looking for love or looking to rekindle some love, you want to get that budget in order. And a great way to do that is to surround yourself by friends, family, loved ones who will help you and support you in your money goals.
I remember hearing something a few years ago when there was, Match.com and all these online dating apps. They talked about, well, what is your credit score? And I thought that was kind of funny and foolish, but in actuality, there's a lot of truth to that. What is your financial stability? That's interesting how it is. What about any other final advice that we haven't hit on yet?
We want to simplify, simplify, simplify. So the easier it is to keep our finances in order, the easier it is to stay on track. And a great place to start is with our accounts. Do you have extra savings accounts, checking accounts, or have you been meaning to roll over a company 401k? We want to consolidate and simplify. And we can also do that with our budget. So the fewer categories we have, the easier it is to track and maintain. And we can always add details later. And another final tip is to make our spending intentional. Every time we spend money, we have the opportunity to vote for more of the world we want to see and to align our spending with our values. And that might mean switch a recurring expense over to a BIPOC or woman-owned business, or to purchase goods from a company working to be more sustainable. And often when our spending is more intentional, it has the wonderful side effect of actually reducing the amount we spend.
I like that. I like all of that. Now, for more information on where people can go to get more of what we talked about, where can they do that?
Yes, they can learn more about Affirm at affirm.com and can follow along my budgeting tips at the Fiscal Femme.
Okay, Ashley Feinstein Gersley, the Fiscal Femme founder. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. We are in our consumer hour, talking a lot of consumer news stories there, but we're also staying up to date on the situation we've been following on 240 at South Parkway. Let me take you out there to that police investigation. Those lanes, guys, still blocked. You can't access it. Those of you usually traveling in that southbound direction. Again, this is all due to an early morning police investigation. It happened around 4 o'clock this morning where an officer was making a traffic stop and that suspect shot at him. Thankfully, that officer is in critical condition, but this is still a very active police investigation with those lanes being blocked off. Again, this is the southbound direction. The northbound direction seems to be pretty good shape, moving slowly but surely, but you will not be able to travel in that southbound direction. And I also want to give you an update this morning to how you can watch Action News 5. So on Monday, that's March 11th, Action News 5 Plus over-the-air signal will change from 5.5 to 5.3. Now you should not need to rescan your TVs. You can still watch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, Roku, and you can also find us on digital channel 5.3, 907 on Xfinity. And while we're looking ahead, I guess as a traffic tracker, I can remind you about that I-55 closure that's going to happen on Sunday, the Old Bridge. So my friends in Arkansas, if you usually travel in or out of Arkansas through the I-55 bridge, will be blocked off starting Sunday night, I believe at 8 p.m. So your only detour will be the 40 bridge. So you definitely want to pack your patience there since that's the only route you have to come inbound or outbound. But this morning, if you're headed out the door, you have the option to travel throughout that direction. Again, you can see right now traffic is flowing there. Of course, you got that construction project, so you're down a lane, but if you want all of your lanes, you have the option to work your I-40. So staying on top of a lot of news here at the Digital Desk, we're going to continue our consumer news when you see us in the next 60 seconds. We'll see you then, guys.
Well, a total solar eclipse for 2024 is coming up on April 8th. It's also known as the Great American Solar Eclipse. I want to tell you what exactly a solar eclipse is and then how it's going to be impacting the Mid-South. Let's start with what a solar eclipse is. It's when the moon moves in between the sun and the earth. When it does, it actually creates a localized shadow on the face of the earth. You can see it moving. That's actually exactly where this total solar eclipse is going to be taking place on April 8th. Let's talk about how this impacts the Mid-South, because the path of totality where it's going to be seeing that 100% darkness during the day is actually very close to the Mid-South. It's going to be impacting portions of Texas up into central Arkansas and then passing just to our north as well. Here in the Mid-South, we're going to be seeing anywhere between 90 even up to 98%. Now, when exactly can you step outside and see this? Well, the total eclipse is going to be happening again on April 8th. It's going to be anywhere between 1:55 p.m. into the 2 o'clock hour. So make sure to mark your calendars and make sure to buy your eclipse glasses to be able to view it safely.
All right, thanks so much, Maggie. Welcome back to the Digital Desk. I told you we got a lot of cool stories that we are discussing today, including the future of EVs. So are you ready to charge into the future? Well, the market for electric vehicles, that's EVs, has grown in recent years with a record of 1.2 million EVs sold in the U.S. in 2023. Someone who knows a little bit more than me is here to speak with us today about it. Now, joining us is Tony Caravano. Tony, let's see if I can bring you up here. I don't think, let's see, click over to you. Tony, can you hear me?
I sure can. How are you today?
I'm well, and yourself?
Doing so well. Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here to talk about Rivian and to talk about yesterday's R2 reveal.
Yeah, okay, so tell us a little bit about, let's start out with EVs in general and ownership benefits. What should we know?
Absolutely. So typically I start off by making sure folks realize that EVs are also known as electric vehicles. They are battery powered electric. That means that they don't require gasoline. You plug them in typically to charge overnight and you're ready to go do everything you need to do the next day. They also are zero emission vehicles. So that means that they do their part to help protect the environment. They have ample storage room and they're great to drive. A lot of control and stability. And for those that really like it, also good speed in those vehicles as well.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit, let's see if I can pull myself up. There we go. Tell us more about Rivian and the new R2. I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but what more can you tell us about that?
Sure. So Rivian is a company that was founded in 2009. It's an American-based company, and our vehicles are produced here in the U.S. We deliver vehicles in both the U.S. and Canada, and our flagship vehicles, our truck and our SUV, can be seen on the road, pretty much all over the country now at this point. They are thoughtfully designed vehicles that really consider what you might do, from getting your kids out of the house to go to school in the morning, down to soccer practice, over to your first camping trip as a family, or if you're experts at those things, thinking about the gear and accessories you might add to really turn up the adventure in your Rivian.
I love that. So what sets Rivian vehicles apart in the EV space?
So we've thought a lot about those places that you're going to explore with your friends and with your family. And we've thought about simplifying and streamlining the ownership experience. So that's from buying the vehicle to driving the vehicle to charging. We've also won a number of top safety awards, which really gives families peace of mind. And we're also expanding our own charging infrastructure. So our vehicles, the R2 in particular, will be compatible with most other charging networks and public charging networks as well across the country. But Rivian is going to build up to 600 new charging stations across the US and Canada. And the vehicle itself is also coming in priced at around $45,000, which means that we'll see more people able to afford an electric vehicle.
Nice, nice. Tell me a little bit about some of the highlights of the R2 ownership experience.
Absolutely. A couple favorite features for me, absolutely storage all over the vehicle. So again, there is no motor or engine in this vehicle. So you have a front trunk that allows you to fill it up with all of the things that you need to adventure. For me, that's volleyballs and basketballs for weekend sports. I'm 6'3", and I'm able to fit in both the front seat and the back seat very comfortably. So that's very important, an important note. But two other features I really love. One, we have a powered back window that can be dropped. That's going to be very exciting for folks that are doing home improvement projects. You've got, 2x4 pieces of wood that might need to stick out of the back and be secured. We also have the ability to completely lay flat the seats in the vehicle. So you can lay down, take a nap while you're out, or sleep overnight camping somewhere as well. So really great features, but overall the driving experience of R2 is going to be something that folks will be very excited about.
I see that the model we have is silver. Are there other colors that this particular model comes in?
We're really excited to unleash the colors in the future. So that's going to be something that we'll share over time. Our design team has already demonstrated with the truck and the SUV that we take our colors very, very seriously. So I think you'll be pretty excited when you see them.
All right, if I can get an input, maybe black. Black is like a classic, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. We have midnight today, and I'll take your vote to the design studio team and make sure they know what you want.
Hey, that works for me. What more can you tell us that I didn't ask you today?
Well, we'd love for folks to visit rivian.com/R2. They can be one of the first to order to reserve R2. We also are located with a showroom on Broadway in Nashville. And we have a service center located in Franklin. So if folks want to go and demo drive a Rivian, get behind the wheel and see one of the flagships today, they can do that. They can also go there to learn more about R2.
All right, Tony, this was fun. Thanks so much for stopping by the Action News 5 digital desk. We'll stay in touch.
Greatly appreciate the time today. Have a good one.
Absolutely. All right, guys, you're getting a live look over Midtown through our high five cameras. It's 59 degrees outside. It's 8:36. We got more Action News 5 on the digital desk when we come back in the next 60 seconds. Stay with us.
Good morning and thank you for joining us right back here on the Action News 5 digital desk. It is nice and chilly out there, 39 degrees. So we are talking about food and budgeting when it comes to those meal preps. I know it can be pretty tough to meal prep all the time, but that is why we have experts here to talk all about that kind of stuff. And so joining me this morning, we actually have a chef. Jamie Gwynn is here with us today. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us right here on the digital desk. How you doing?
Glad to be with you, Sydney. Thank you. I'm doing well. I think it's so funny. You mentioned how chilly it is, and we're highlighting frozen food. It makes me think of the chill factor, but I'll tell you, this might be far more delicious, guaranteed, than that chilly weather. We're celebrating National Frozen Food Month, and I actually have cost-saving meal prep ideas for you that I think will delight.
Jamie, let's talk about it. Everyone likes to save money. We know inflation's been really hitting those pockets at the grocery store. So
No doubt.
let's talk about the financial aspect of it before we get into all the food I see on your
Sure.
screen.
Into all the goodness, of course. Convenience and affordability are key when it comes to the frozen food aisle. And as a professional chef, I will tell you, I shop the frozen food aisle a lot because it's come a long way. It has evolved. It has become innovative. The nutrient benefits are there because of the extraordinary technology in flash freezing. But when it comes to saving money and saving time, according to a recent survey by the National Frozen and Refrigerated Foods Association, 8 out of 10 parents with young children, of which I am one, finds it easier to have frozen food option on hand at all times. And 64% say that it has helped combat rising grocery costs. Why? Because you're buying more portion controlled. It's limiting spoilage of the fresh ingredients that you might be buying. And there is a brilliant benefit to frozen food with rising, skyrocketing prices. I think that you'll find you're going to get sometimes better flavor. You're certainly going to save time and you get a whole lot of convenience. So we'll talk about that, but there's no doubt this is a good way to budget.
Let's talk about the health aspects of it when it comes to frozen food. I know sometimes
Sure.
people feel like it's not the healthiest option, but there are ways to make this food healthy.
That's true. I agree with you. But you know what? The cookie aisle isn't always the healthiest option either. I mean, I think you have to know what you're looking for. And I believe in splurge worthy at times. And I believe, everything in moderation. There is a lot of healthy, wonderfully delicious, and fresh tasting food, I would like to say, in the frozen food aisle. It's all real food. It's just frozen. The flash freezing technology, what started as what we call IQF, right? It started with frozen fruit. You pick fresh raspberries, for instance, at the peak of the season, and you freeze them individually quick frozen so they don't stick together in the bag, right? But those are the sweetest raspberries at the height, at the peak of their time. If you buy raspberries today in the market, in the produce section, they might not be as sweet, depends on the season, right? That flash freezing technology not only gives you fabulous flavor, but it locks in the nutrients. It's why we freeze fish for texture and quality on the boat. And that same rule applies to the frozen food section. In the freezer section today, you also get pre-washed and chopped and prepped ingredients. So now you're getting the health benefits. You have food on hand that's delicious, and it makes your day easier. It's innovation and versatility.
Hey, I'm all about saving time when it comes to cooking, being at the grocery store, getting home and chopping all that stuff up. So I think that is so
That's right.
important. Let's talk about some of the things that you're cooking. I was on your Instagram page, and a lot of that food looks really, really good. I think I saw some beef
Thank
stroganoff.
you.
That looked amazing.
Okay, that one, I've got to tell you, that recipe is unbelievably good. It's a meatball stroganoff using frozen meatballs. So I can just tell you selfishly, in our house, I have a 4-year-old. Pizza and chicken nuggets will always have their place. But we have other favorite ingredients, and the frozen food aisle has actually been an amazing way to get my 4-year-old to eat more. So Sydney, if you consider, or like to, I should say, eat a more varied amount of foods. If you consider, like, we love frozen pot stickers. I will quickly, saute them so they're crispy on the outside and steamed on the inside with soy and black vinegar. But then what can you do with that bag of meatballs you mentioned, or with the pot stickers, right? Why not make an under 10 minutes easy pot sticker veggie soup? Frozen veggies, peak of the season, frozen. I love the frozen asparagus for spring. And the pot stickers, ginger, garlic, chicken broth, easy peasy, fabulous, right? Crispy butterfly shrimp into a lettuce wrap with a creamy, lovely sauce. I use my son's favorite crispy chicken in a wrap for lunch. It's out of this world. This is so cool. Why not think about your favorite frozen waffle? We are a frozen waffle family. Super easy for breakfast, right? But I like to fold them and nestle them into my air fryer basket. When they get crispy, they look like a taco. That's a waffle taco. Now we're repurposing that frozen waffle that everybody loves. I filled it with barbecue chicken and a little coleslaw, and my kiddo loves them. Sweet potato puffs, better for you, so delicious. And last but not least, I love phyllo. It's crispy and flaky, and I filled it with ricotta and frozen berries that I use to make a compote. It's just that good. The freezer aisle, the frozen food section, is limitless. So please check it out. Go to easyhomemeals.com, by the way, for these recipes.
Well, it sounds like the frozen meals, the freezer can be your friend, is what I was trying to say.
Yes.
One quick thing before I let you go. I know you have a bit of some prizes folks can win. Can you tell me a little bit about that before you go?
Yes. Of course. Thank you for asking. For National Frozen Food Month in March, we are celebrating at easyhomemeals.com. 10,000 in prizes and appliances to win. So enter for free. By the way, I am not eligible, Sydney, so I hope you win. easyhomemeals.com. And I'll see you on social platforms at Chef Jamie Gwen.
All right, Chef Jamie Gwen, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for those delicious, inspiring frozen meals. I know I'll be putting some of those in my back pocket. We appreciate you here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk.
Good morning, everyone. Andrew Douglas in the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Tax day is over. Phew, that was close, all right? So we know that we like spending money as Americans, getting the latest and greatest, and the stress of tax day is now behind us. People may be tempted to get something more, maybe splurge a little bit, but hold the phone, okay? Maybe you should budget more. Maybe you should save more. What are you going to do with this tax refund if you're lucky to get one? Let's bring in someone that's going to help us with that. Stephanie O'Connell Rodriguez, a nationally recognized financial expert and author, is here at the Digital Desk to really talk about maybe some better choices of how to handle that tax refund. And Stephanie, I got to ask, what do you think is the first thing that people should do if they get a refund? Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here. Well, according to Barclays Bank most recent consumer survey, the majority of Americans are actually hoping to use their tax refund to build their financial security. So we've got some pretty good intentions. Now it comes to how do we put those good intentions to build our financial savings, maybe pay down our debt into practice. And I think in order to do that, it's going to look different for everybody. We got to start by taking stock of our own financial picture and see what we own versus what we owe. And if we owe a lot, maybe we got to take inventory of that debt and see what we owe, to whom, monthly minimum payment, and our interest rate on each debt so we can prioritize what it looks like to build all those minimum payments into our budget, and then make progress on making payments above the minimum payment on the debt with the highest interest rate, and make progress such that we pay off that debt and then the next highest interest rate debt and then the next, so we can get to our financial security as cost effectively as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the sexiest thing to say, hey, wait, you got a big chunk of change. You can't go to Europe or the Caribbean. No, you got a budget. You got to pay off that debt, put some into savings. I mean, I think that is a great first start. Why is it, though, that so many Americans have just a hard time on saving there? Because we're supposed to have, 2 months of cash reserves just in case for emergency purposes, right?
That's right. At least 2 months in emergency savings, ideally maybe 6 months, maybe more. After the pandemic, we had people out of work for more than 6 months. So you always want to think about, what's the financial security I need and the emotional security I need to get through another potential financial emergency. Now, when you're trying to figure out how to prioritize this along with your other financial goals, it's really important to make sure that you're making the most of the savings that you do have. So if you go open up a savings account at your local brick and mortar bank, oftentimes you're getting very, very low interest rates on that savings account. And we always talk about, I want to make my money work better for me. But if you're getting 0.35% interest on your savings, which is around the national average, you're really not getting a lot there. So I like to shop around with my savings like I do for anything else. And I really like online high yield savings accounts, which offer interest rates much, much higher than the average. Barclays, for example, has a high yield online savings account with a very high interest rate. They've got no minimum balance requirements, no monthly maintenance fees, plus the FDIC insurance. And as you mentioned, people are having a hard time building up this kind of savings, and that's because prices have been on the rise. Inflation has been the big story these last couple of years. Most recent numbers, 5% increase year over year on our cost of living. And that's not just the vacations, the exciting, sexy stuff. That's the stuff we need, like our groceries, like our housing payments. And so if you really want to build this stuff into your budget, I like to make saving, debt payoff, investing a line item on the budget, just like I do those other expenses.
I like that. That's a great idea. High yield savings accounts. And you're right. Inflation is still outrageous. I know we had something that said it's down to 5%. Well, it shouldn't be higher than 2%. It's still affecting us. Eggs are outrageous, and airfare, my gosh, flying anywhere is super high. So I know that a lot of Americans are starting to go back in debt as a result of a lot of things, including inflation. What's the best method an effective method, the most effective, to pay down debt that so many Americans are accumulating right now?
Well, the best method to pay down debt is the one you can stick with, right? So the only way to figure out what that's going to be for you is to, again, start by taking inventory of what you owe and build it into your budget as you're able. I talked about a method that's called the debt avalanche, and that's where you prioritize paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. For some folks, it might be tackling the debt with the lowest balance first, so you can see the progress you're making, and that then motivates you to make progress on momentum toward paying off the next debt. And I know that it's more cost effective to address your highest interest rate debt first, but again, it's what is going to work for you. Even if it costs you more over the life of your loan, if you're going to stick with it, if you see the progress of knocking out that low interest rate debt first, that's fine by me. Just make sure that as you're doing that debt payoff, you also are building your emergency savings, because if something does come up and you do get an unexpected expense like a medical bill or something happens with your car or your home that you must repair, you really want to have that high yield online savings there for you, so you can tap into it and not put it on a high interest rate credit card and add more to your debt.
Just curious, Stephanie, for people out there, how do you find a high yield savings account in your hometown, for example? We're in Memphis.
So typically speaking, you're going to find your high yield savings accounts online. And the reason for this is the high interest rates and the annual percentage yields that you get in those online savings accounts, you get them because they have lower costs of operating. If you don't have to maintain the brick and mortar presence, that's a lot of money saved, and that savings gets passed along to the consumer in the form of these lower fees, in the form of these higher rates. And so going to resources like banking.barclaysus.com will give you information about how you can find your high yield online savings account, and it's really easy to set this up. I have done it. It's how I saved for my wedding. It's the first account that I opened with my husband. Great way to combine finances, by the way. And it's really a great way to maximize the money that you are saving, because when you do just go to your default bank that's on the street, there's a value to that, but you don't get a lot for your money in the savings account, and often in CDs, the interest rate isn't as high as these banks that have the high yield online savings account. So I definitely suggest comparison shopping, just like you do for anything else.
This is a conversation I could have forever, and I know it's very popular among so many people. It's just, financial literacy out there. So let me ask you this. If we have thousands of people that tune in each and every morning watching us here on the Digital Desk, if you were to give like bullet points, maybe 3 bullet points for someone that's looking to have better financial success in 2023. The tax season is now over. Tax day has come and gone. What would you recommend?
I think you have to take stock of your full financial picture first. A lot of the times we think we know what we're bringing in each month because we know what we make annually or hourly, but what that actually looks like after taxes, after deductions, in our take-home pay can be very different. And we want to make sure we're planning off of our reality, not off of our aspirations. And then on the flip side, we got to take stock of our expenses. We talked about taking inventory of what we owe and to whom, but also this has to include those savings contributions. This has to include our essential living expenses, housing, groceries, utilities, insurance, all of that good stuff. And making sure, again, we're dealing with the reality of what we're spending, not what we think we're spending, because there can be a surprising gap between the two. And I think the third piece of this is maintaining accountability. So whatever's going to work for you to keep your finances top of mind, I like to say managing my money is a practice. It's not something I do once a year on tax day, and it's not something I do when there's a crisis, because that's just reactive money management. I want to have proactive money management. And so I think a bit like, I don't go to one yoga class and say, all right, I'm done, I'm fit for life, right? It doesn't work that way. I got to go back and I got to go back, and I get better every time I do it. Same thing happens with my money. I check my money on a daily basis. You don't have to be as much of a money nerd as I am to have a good, healthy relationship with your money, but you can certainly go ahead and make checking in on your money once once a week to see where it's going, tracking your budget, keeping yourself accountable, and making sure you're maximizing it with these tools like the high yield online savings, CDs, investment accounts, so that you really get your money's worth.
I love it, Stephanie. We've talked about a lot this morning. Where can we go to get some more information, including these tips that we talked about?
Yes, so it is Financial Literacy Month. I know we talked about how important financial literacy is. So you can head to this portal at banking.barclaysus.com. Again, that's banking.barclaysus.com, and go to the resources tab. There's a lot of tools, articles, information about how to manage these money goals, how to get the most from your money, and how to prioritize when you have a lot of money goals at once.
Okay, Stephanie O'Connell Rodriguez, we really appreciate the conversation this morning. I think we helped a lot of people with this and just thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks.
I hope so. Thank you, Andrew.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. We just wrapped up our Consumer Hour. Hope you enjoyed those stories there. But now, got to take you outside because we got to give you an update to some of those problem spots we've been following this morning. This is 240 at South Parkway, where we have that police investigation. Those southbound lanes are still blocked off, which means you will not be able to travel in that direction. Again, this is a police investigation. It all started around 4 o'clock this morning, when an officer was making a traffic stop and he was shot. Thankfully, that officer is now in non-critical condition, but this is still a very active police investigation. You can see several officers there on the scene working it. So this is an area you want to avoid. Those of you traveling in that northbound direction, you're good to go. You got all your lanes to work with there, but this is just your friendly reminder. 240 at South Parkway, that southbound direction. Those lanes are all still blocked for you. Another reminder for my friends on how to watch us, how to watch Action News 5. Remember, on Monday, starting that's March 11th, Action News 5 Plus over-the-air signal will change from 5.5 to 5.3. Now, you should not need to rescan your TVs. You can still watch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and Roku. And remember, you can also find us on digital channel 5.3 and 907 on Xfinity. We have more Action News 5 Digital Desk coming up in the next 60 seconds. Stay with us.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Today, keep an umbrella nearby. You may not need it all day long. There will be some periods of time where there won't be very much in the way of rainfall, but there will be other periods where it'll come down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Of course, this morning has been quite wet across the area, but we're running into a lull in the activity as we go through the coming hour. So rain chances will go down. Temperatures will ease back up through the middle 60s this afternoon. As we go through the overnight period and this evening, another uptick in rain chances will come as the last wave, the actual cold front itself, makes progress across the Mid-South heading towards the back end of the day into tonight. So there will be some rain and some storms to contend with in several different waves. And I want to reemphasize, not a one-size-fits-all forecast where it's going to rain across the board all day long. I don't think that's the case. The issue will be more so, again, periods of time where rain is going to be more dominant than other times, and then other times where it's going to be dry. It'll just be cloudy outside. But we can't rule it out that we can see an isolated gusty shower or storm. The chances are very low here today, and actually the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has removed the entire Action News 5 coverage area out of the slight and even the marginal risk, now down closer to the Jackson metropolitan area in Mississippi. That goes along with that idea of the warm front that's lifting northward, just not having a lot of success in getting too far to the north. It makes sense in this regard. Saturday looks to be quieter, drier as the storm system pushes off towards the east, and brighter skies on the way by Sunday. So let's go hour by hour with our first alert futurecast. Already starting to see things shutting down here across the Mid-South with the first wave of rain, but we've got another wave that will likely emerge as we head towards the afternoon hours. Some sporadic showers here and there, and then another wave develops as we head through this evening. See coming out of Arkansas. This will actually be closer to the cold front that will work its way across the area. Now again, can't rule it out. A gusty shower or storm. Can't rule it out here this afternoon into the early evening hours as the next wave kind of pivots across the area with more scattered showers and rumbles of thunder. They'll take us into the overnight period into the start of your Saturday. Again, temperatures today in the 60s through the course of your Friday. Tonight will drop down through the 50s. There will be still some lingering showers early Saturday morning, moving out, and eventually some clearing trends on the way, but it may take all day long for the clouds to begin to clear out, especially for if you live in places like Selmer and Corinth and Bolivar and Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford. I think it is going to be clouds all day long. Back to the west, Harrisburg, Colt, out towards Cherry Valley as well as Forest City. You might be able to catch a little sunshine before the sun goes down just after 6 p.m. Don't forget, we actually have a time change coming up Saturday night into Sunday, so you'll have to turn your clocks forward 1 hour. You don't want to be that person that's late to church walking down the aisle at an hour after church began. Of course, stay up to date with the weather information anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Morning shower, afternoon sun breaks possible, but it's going to be more clouds than not. Highs in the 50s with a chilly northwest wind flowing through here at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Today, the wind's a little breezy out of the south and east, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then we will turn cooler, but staying quiet. Sunday, mostly to partly sunny, highs in the middle and upper 50s, not looking half bad. Your 7-day forecast, again, rain and storms here today, off and on, continuing into the overnight period. Saturday, clouds early, some sun breaks for some late in the day, but I think most of us will just stay underneath the clouds through the majority of your day on Saturday. Fast forward, spring forward, Saturday night into Sunday, highs in the 50s, and here you go with the 60s and 70s on the way as we head towards early portions of next week. Germantown Half Marathon and Mayor's Cup 5K. There will be some road closures in Germantown that would include Wolf River Boulevard. Of course, given the situation with Germantown Road and Parkway, that area across the Wolf River with the bridge, this may cause some issues if you're going to be out and about early on your Saturday morning. But the Germantown Half Marathon, that will be throughout the morning hours. 7:30 is when things will kick off there. Temperatures in the 50s, a northwesterly wind coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to keep a small chance of a shower, but most of the rain should be out of the area by that point in time. 901 FC going up against Las Vegas, their home opener and season opener at AutoZone Park. The pitch may be a little moist after the soggy start to your Friday, and of course the next wave of rain that will likely impact the region going into the overnight period tonight heading into Saturday. 3 p.m. Temperatures in the 50s and a northwesterly wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Things will start to calm down. You might see off in the distance, looking out to the west right before sunset, the clearing and the, of course, brighter skies. That will take us into your Sunday again. Brighter skies there. High temperatures will top out in the upper 50s, mid 60s Monday. Don't forget Mississippi primary elections coming up on Tuesday. We kind of understand that on Tuesday, Mississippi, yeah, we already know the presidential election, but there are down ballot elections and primaries that will also be involved there. So again, you still need to get out there and vote in the primary elections on Tuesday. Again, that's for Mississippi. Arkansas and Tennessee already had their primary elections this past Tuesday. High near 70, low in mid 70s going into early next week. Getting ready for another chance for some rain and storms by the end of next week that could lead into St. Patrick's Day weekend. We'll watch that closely. Of course, the big parade here in Memphis. 2 p.m. on Saturday. Hopefully things are dry, but it looks to be a bit on the milder side, still in the 60s for highs by that point in time. But of course, we're still several days out. We'll keep you updated on that. Of course, stay weather aware with us today with the chances for rain and some rumbles of thunder rolling through the region. That will continue into tonight before the clearing trend into the overnight period.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. And we have a very special guest here with us this morning to chat about Disney on Ice, a very exciting show that is going to be coming, I believe, to South Haven. So I'm going to have a guest here with me in just a moment. We get her shot up in just a second. You guys bear with me. We are chugging right along this morning. So we've got Sarah Santee here. Now, Sarah, there we go. Let's see Sarah. Hey, Sarah. How are you doing this morning?
Hello.
Thank
I'm
you
doing
so
great.
much
How
for
are you
joining.
doing?
I am awesome. We really appreciate you joining us here this morning on the Digital Desk. So Disney on Ice, I've never had the chance to go, but I hear it's an amazing time, an amazing show. I know the kiddos love it. So tell me a little bit about what folks can expect.
Yeah, so we have 6 incredible stories. We have Mickey and Minnie and your favorites, Donald and Goofy as well, take you throughout 6 stories from classics like we have The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. And then we also have some fun new stories, such as Encanto and Moana and Frozen.
Sarah, what is one of your favorite stories to, I guess, portray? Is that the right word?
Yeah, so I portray the role of Rapunzel, which is a really fun and quite longer segment in the show, which I really like. I get to portray a lot of, dynamic characters, and we have anything from, what my parents would enjoy when they were, kids from when I was a kid, and it's really fun to take your whole family, and all ages are enjoying it. It's a really, really good show.
Sarah, for people who have never experienced Disney on Ice, tell me a little bit more about what's in store, and what they can look forward to. I mean, how does this show actually start?
Yeah, so we have your favorites, Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Goofy, come out in the beginning. And we have a lot of really cool transformations and aerial acts in the show. So not only will you be able to see skating and your favorite characters come to your city, but you'll also get to see some high, exciting aerial acts and transitions. Like when Ariel gets her legs, she'll be ascended 30 feet up into the air and flying on this acrobatic rope. And we also have the Beast when he transforms into a prince. We have a lot of special dazzling effects and a lot of really cool, fast changing moments.
Sarah, I want to know, how long have you been involved with Disney on Ice, and really talk about what it took for you to prepare for something like this.
This is my 8th tour with Disney on Ice, and I was training as a professional or as a competitive figure skater my whole life. And I actually have a unique story because both of my parents, they were touring with Disney on Ice when they were around my age as well. And so I saw them doing that and heard about the stories and wanted to work towards that. So when I graduated high school, I went straight to the show and I have been here ever since.
Sorry, Sarah was having a bit of technical difficulties. If you could kind of just talk
That's okay.
about those kids' faces when you see them in the crowd and you see their eyes light up. What is that like for you?
That's definitely my favorite part because I also grew up coming to see the shows. And so it's kind of a very equally satisfying moment to experience that from the other side. And I know what it's like to come dressed up as your favorite Disney character, and it's extremely magical and something that you never forget, and you definitely want to then take your kids when you are grown up one day as well.
Absolutely. And so, Sarah, you're going to be in South Haven. When is that happening? Tell me about when folks can catch the show.
Yeah, so we're going to be in South Haven Thursday through Sunday, and you can get your tickets at DisneyOnIce.com. We have price ranges for anybody, and bring your whole family. We hope to see you there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. Really appreciate your time joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. As you guys just heard, Disney on Ice in South Haven, Thursday through Sunday. Thanks again, Sarah. We are going to get a look right now, a sneak preview of the latest edition of the Memphis Flyer magazine. We've got the very lovely Anna Traverse joining us. Anna, how's it going? How you doing this morning?
Thanks. How are you?
I am doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so tell me a little bit about this latest issue.
Yeah, so this is the latest issue of Memphis Magazine. It is our March issue, and we have so much good stuff in here, so I'm very excited to share it with your audience. The cover story is actually about a photographer who is from Memphis named Yvette Roberts, and her work is just stunning. She has been photographing musicians and concerts for many decades now, more than 4 decades. And she has photographed such an incredible roster of musicians and talented folks. So this is why you see the one and only Bob Marley on the cover of Memphis Magazine, which is not something that I probably would have expected to see on our cover, but I really love it. And we also have just, so much good photography from her in this issue. I really hope that readers get a chance to take a look. You'll see photographs of everyone from Bob Dylan to Patti Smith, just tons of incredible artists. And also just a great story about Yvette Roberts, the photographer, that was written by Bruce Van Weingarten. He spent some time getting to know her and learning about her style and approach. So it's a fascinating story about someone who is, again, from Memphis, went to Hutchinson, and has just been all over the world making incredible art. So we have that to share. We also have, I'm excited to tell your folks about a story on Cortland Whalum, who is one of the Whalums of Memphis, one of the many talented Whalums, and he spent some time away from Memphis and is now back here. So we're excited to share more about him. We also included a family tree of the Whalum family, because I don't know about you, but I was always a little bit like, wait, how do they all fit together? So we tried to clarify that a little bit. And just so much other good stuff in here. Even a story about pickleball, which sort of like with putting Bob Dylan on the cover of, or Bob Marley on the cover of Memphis Magazine, I don't know that I would have expected to be editing a story about pickleball, but here we are, and people seem to be into it. So so we have a story about it and about where people locally can go to check it out.
Okay, and we're going to get back to that pickleball. I want to go back to that cover, though. You know, it's obviously timely because that Bob Marley movie is out in theaters now. So pretty cool to me to see that, you know, a Memphis photographer is being highlighted in that way in regard to someone who is such a huge, huge deal in the music world. But let's go back to pickleball now. You said there's going to be more, there's a little bit more in the magazine this week about pickleball. Tell me what else people are going to find out about it.
Yes. So in this month's issue, we have the pickleball story. You can find out where to go locally to play, and how it's different from tennis, what people might get out of it from a health and fitness standpoint, but also just having a good time with it. Back quickly to the cover story. Yeah, the Bob Marley photo is a real highlight, and of course we thought about the timeliness of the film coming out. And with the Bob Marley image, really with all of Yvette Roberts's images, the great thing about this story is that you can really go behind the scenes. So she shares lots of anecdotes about getting to meet all of these musicians, spending time with them, all of their different interesting quirks. So, so it's worth checking out for that as well. I also want briefly, you know, as you're probably getting a sense of, this is a magazine that's going in a lot of different directions, and we love that. It keeps us on our toes and gives readers something to, really something for everyone. So we also have a story in here that I really, really enjoyed seeing about a mid-century modern home that is in East Memphis. So it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous space, and it's been really lovingly restored. So I'll flash this up. If you can see, that gives a little bit of a sense.
Home. I'm loving the way it's decorated.
Yeah, it's a real mid-century treasure, and you know, it's been really beautifully taken care of, and the vibe of the mid-century aesthetic very much preserved, even carried over into the furnishings that the homeowner has set up right now. So it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous space. I would be happy to move in if she if she wants to unload. So yeah, just a lot of good stuff in this issue. It's also our annual Faces of the Mid-South issue. So we have a variety of local businesses being highlighted in those promotional pieces. So we're grateful to all of them, of course, and just a really wide variety of things. I also would just quickly, because this is a piece that's so special to me. I'm a real lover of Overton Park, and a local artist named Martha Kelly gave us this work of hers that she is calling Portal, and you can kind of see it. But this is on the very last page of the magazine, and it's just a gorgeous illustrated story. So it's about a walk that Martha Kelly took with her dog in the old forest of Overton Park, and a kind of magical discovery that they made one day. So it's just a delightful little piece, and very special for those of us who have a fondness for that forest.
All right. Well, Anna, thank you so much for your time. Anna Traverse with Memphis Flyer, Memphis Magazine. Be sure to get your latest copy here pretty soon. Really appreciate your time this morning. Welcome back to the Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. Are you having fun yet? I mean, from Disney on Ice to the Memphis Magazine, we're just having fun this hour. So we're glad that you are sticking around with us. Now, we got to update you on a few problem spots we're following this morning, especially on 240 near South Parkway, where we have that early morning police investigation. Still a very active scene there where those lanes are blocked off, so you will not be able to travel in this direction. Again, this is the southbound direction on 240 at South Parkway. This is all due to an early morning investigation. An officer was making a traffic stop where he was shot. Thankfully, he is in non-critical condition, but this is still a very active situation, and those southbound lanes are blocked as you're approaching South Parkway on 240. The northbound direction doesn't look too bad, though. You have all those lanes to work with. They're open for you. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor that situation, and we'll have those updates for you throughout the morning. Also want to give you that friendly reminder about how you can watch Action News 5, okay? So on Monday, that's March 11th, Action News 5 Plus, over-the-air signal will change from 5.5 to 5.3. Now, you should not need to rescan your TVs. You can still watch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and Roku. And of course, you can also find us on digital channel 5.3 and 907 on Xfinity. The time now is 9:22. Gonna get you out the door this morning, let you know what that weather is looking like for you with First Alert meteorologist Patrick Ellis.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Today, keep an umbrella nearby. You may not need it all day long. There will be some periods of time where there won't be very much in the way of rainfall, but there will be other periods where it'll come down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Of course, this morning has been quite wet across the area, but we're running into a lull in the activity as we go through the coming hour. So rain chances will go down. Temperatures will ease back up through the middle 60s this afternoon. As we go through the overnight period and this evening, another uptick in rain chances will come as the last wave, the actual cold front itself, makes progress across the Mid-South heading towards the back end of the day into tonight. So there will be some rain and some storms to contend with in several different waves. And I want to reemphasize, not a one-size-fits-all forecast where it's going to rain across the board all day long. I don't think that's the case. The issue will be more so, again, periods of time where rain is going to be more dominant than other times, and then other times where it's going to be dry. It'll just be cloudy outside. But we can't rule it out that we can see an isolated gusty shower or storm. The chances are very low here today, and actually the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has removed the entire Action News 5 coverage area out of the slight and even the marginal risk, now down closer to the Jackson metropolitan area in Mississippi. That goes along with that idea of the warm front that's lifting northward, just not having a lot of success in getting too far to the north. It makes sense in this regard. Saturday looks to be quieter, drier as the storm system pushes off towards the east, and brighter skies on the way by Sunday. So let's go hour by hour with our First Alert Futurecast. Already starting to see things shutting down here across the Mid-South with the first wave of rain, but we've got another wave that will likely emerge as we head towards the afternoon hours. Some sporadic showers here and there, and then another wave develops as we head through this evening. See coming out of Arkansas. This will actually be closer to the cold front that will work its way across the area. Now again, can't rule it out. A gusty shower or storm. Can't rule it out here this afternoon into the early evening hours as the next wave kind of pivots across the area with more scattered showers and rumbles of thunder. They'll take us into the overnight period into the start of your Saturday. Again, temperatures today in the 60s through the course of your Friday. Tonight will drop down through the 50s. There will be still some lingering showers early Saturday morning, moving out, and eventually some clearing trends on the way, but it may take all day long for the clouds to begin to clear out, especially for if you live in places like Selmer and Corinth and Bolivar and Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford. I think it is going to be clouds all day long. Back to the west, Harrisburg, Colt, out towards Cherry Valley as well as Forest City. You might be able to catch a little sunshine before the sun goes down just after 6 p.m. Don't forget, we actually have a time change coming up Saturday night into Sunday, so you'll have to turn your clocks forward 1 hour. You don't want to be that person that's late to church walking down the aisle at an hour after church began. Of course, stay up to date with the weather information anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Morning shower, afternoon sun breaks possible, but it's going to be more clouds than not. Highs in the 50s with a chilly northwest wind flowing through here at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Today, the wind's a little breezy out of the south and east, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then we will turn cooler, but staying quiet. Sunday, mostly to partly sunny, highs in the middle and upper 50s, not looking half bad. Your 7-day forecast, again, rain and storms here today, off and on, continuing into the overnight period. Saturday, clouds early, some sun breaks for some late in the day, but I think most of us will just stay underneath the clouds through the majority of your day on Saturday. Fast forward, spring forward, Saturday night into Sunday, highs in the 50s, and here you go with the 60s and 70s on the way as we head towards early portions of next week. Germantown half marathon and Mayor's Cup 5K. There will be some road closures in Germantown that would include Wolf River Boulevard. And of course, given the situation with Germantown Road and Parkway, that area across the Wolf River with the bridge, this may cause some issues if you're going to be out and about early on your Saturday morning. But the Germantown Half Marathon, that will be throughout the morning hours. 7:30 is when things will kick off there. Temperatures in the 50s, a northwesterly wind coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to keep a small chance of a shower, but most of the rain should be out of the area by that point in time. 901 FC going up against Las Vegas, their home opener and season opener at AutoZone Park. The pitch may be a little moist after the soggy start to your Friday, and of course the next wave of rain that will likely impact the region going into the overnight period tonight heading into Saturday. 3 p.m. Temperatures in the 50s and a northwesterly wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Things will start to calm down. You might see off in the distance, looking out to the west right before sunset, the clearing and the, of course, brighter skies. That will take us into your Sunday again. Brighter skies there. High temperatures will top out in the upper 50s, mid 60s Monday. Don't forget Mississippi primary elections coming up on Tuesday. We kind of understand that on Tuesday, Mississippi, yeah, we already know the presidential election, but there are down ballot elections and primaries that will also be involved there. So again, you still need to get out there and vote in the primary elections on Tuesday. Again, that's for Mississippi. Arkansas and Tennessee already had their primary elections this past Tuesday. High near 70, low in mid 70s going into early next week. Getting ready for another chance for some rain and storms by the end of next week that could lead into St. Patrick's Day weekend. We'll watch that closely. Of course, the big parade here in Memphis. 2 p.m. on Saturday. Hopefully things are dry, but it looks to be a bit on the milder side, still in the 60s for highs by that point in time. But of course, we're still several days out. We'll keep you updated on that. Of course, stay weather aware with us today with the chances for rain and some rumbles of thunder rolling through the region that will continue into tonight before the clearing trend into the overnight period.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. And joining me this morning is our friend Vivian Fernandez with La Prensa Latina Media. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, this is our first time, so it's nice that we can do this together this Friday. So tell me a little bit about this. March is National Women's History Month, which is why La Prensa Latina Media is honoring and celebrating all women. Can you tell us a little bit more about the mission and what you guys are doing right now?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations because it is our day, obviously. So, because not only is March National Women's History Month, but also the 8th of March is it's Women's Day. So, congratulations again. Happy day. So, yes, we wanted to dedicate this edition to all women in the Mid-South, actually all women in the world, but especially all women in the Mid-South, for their contribution to society, not only to, for their love to their families, but also for their contribution to society in all levels. There's women that are professionals and they can do anything. So, we have proven that we can do anything that we want. So actually, there's a very cool quote that I found by Frida Kahlo, the famous Mexican painter. And it really caught my attention. So I want to share this with you. And quote, "I am the type of woman that if I want the moon, I'll get it down myself," unquote. So what do you think about it?
Not bad. I like that a lot. I like that you mentioned earlier, it's our day, all women. It's about us. Tell me a little bit. I was reading through some of this, and I know that you mentioned about the Women's History Month. It was initially International Women's Day.
Right. At the beginning, it was back in 1909, actually, it was just Women's Day. So then on March 8th, 1911, the first International Women's Day was celebrated in Austria, Switzerland, Germany, and Denmark. Although this holiday was not celebrated as much here in the United States until 1975, when the United Nations began sponsoring it. Then in March of 1980, after celebrations had spread across the country, President Jimmy Carter back then declared that March 8th was officially the start of National Women's History Month, not month, and week, I'm sorry. Then that same year, Utah Senator Orrin Hatch and Maryland Representative Barbara Mikulski, I think that's the way you pronounce it, they co-sponsored the first joint congressional resolution declaring the week of March 8th, 1981, National Women's History Week. Then by 1987, the Congress declared the entire month of March as Women's History Month. So there you go. That's why we're still celebrating March as National Women's History Month.
I love that. So much history there. So let's switch gears now. Let's talk about another headline. I saw that the Cordova branch of the Memphis Public Libraries is offering a workshop to revive an art that has been out of use lately, writing letters by hand. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes, this is really cool. When my coworker sent me this story, I was like, wow. This is something really unique because this is something it's already lost. When do you hear somebody, that is saying, oh, I'm writing a letter by hand. Everything is by email or text, right? So, in today's world, with internet. So, this is something really nice that they're doing, because it's educating people. Is that not everything has to be with technology. And, I think to me, handwriting letters, done, by you personally, that you're writing it yourself, I think it is really personal and it's something unique. So because it has your touch. So I think this is, again, like I said, it's a really cool idea, what they're doing at the Cordova branch. And this is going to be done on Monday, March 11th from 2:30 to 4 o'clock at the Cordova Public Library located at 8457 Trinity Road.
Let me ask you this, do you have to sign up for this event or can you just stop through?
I don't think, I mean, I didn't see anything about signing up for this event. I mean, you can go to their Facebook page if you want, or you can stop by the library and ask that question, but I don't think so. I mean, what I read is that if you're interested in going, just stop by and do the workshop.
Oh, that's awesome. You can't beat that. And when I was reading through the story, I was like, well, when is the last time I actually had like a handwritten letter? And it's been a minute, so I might have to stop by as well. Do you do that often? Do you handwrite letters?
Not really. And let me tell you something very curious. Not too long ago, actually, I think it was maybe 10 days ago, something like that. I got a postcard from one of my best friends. She lives in Tampa now. She used to live here in Memphis. And I was like, wow. I mean, I don't even remember when was the last time that I got a postcard. Maybe, I don't know, 22 years ago when my husband sent me one. I was like, oh my God, I mean, this is so cool. I mean, usually we text every day or something, but it was a postcard. I mean, and it was of a place, where she wants us to take a picture when I visit her. So I was like, oh wow. I mean, so it is really nice. I mean, like I said, it's your personal touch, and it's something really unique. I mean, and it brings you back to the past, really. I mean, because nowadays everything is it looks like so cold. Everything is, I mean, it's not personal. Everything is via email or text. I mean, it's so fast.
Yeah, everything is on this little device here. It's a text message. So I definitely enjoy this event. Again, this event will be Monday. That's March 11th from 2:30 to 4 p.m. at the Cordova Public Library. That's located at 8457 Trinity Road. Did I forget anything about this particular headline?
No.
Okay, let's move on to another one. Let's talk about Broadway. Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit
I
more
love
about
it.
what you guys have read about that. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I love it. They're going to have a very, very nice season, as always, at the Orpheum this year and next year. So they're going to start with MJ, about Michael Jackson's Dangerous World Tour in 1992. I just don't want to miss that. I mean, that's going to be just amazing. Then they're going to have Girl from the North Country. Then in October, that's going to be in October. Then also in October, from October 29th to November the 3rd, they're going to have Moulin Rouge. That's another musical that I just don't want to miss either, just because I love everything about France, I guess. And I love the movie, by the way. So then from November 26th to December 1st, they're going to have Peter Pan, which is a family musical. It's, for all ages, going to be amazing, just like the movie also. Then Hamilton is coming back, I think, for the third time. And this is going to be from February 18th until March the 2nd. Then they're going to have Some Like It Hot, then Kimberly Akimbo, and then finally they're going to close the season with The Wiz. I mean, it's going to be amazing. And The Wiz is going to be playing from July 22nd, until July 27th. So for more information, you can go to laprensa.latina.com. Also, you can read our paper. You can read the e-edition as well if you don't want to read the paper in print. And also, you can go to the Orpheum, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fun. So many great shows. Definitely looking forward to seeing The Wiz. Were there any other headlines that I missed that you wanted to discuss today?
No, just, I remember that today is Women's Day, in the whole world. And actually, it is National Women's History Month as well. So, just congratulate, and celebrate every woman that you have, in your life, like your mothers and your daughters and your sisters and your best friends, all women that you know.
Vivian, that was great. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I know this was our first time interacting, so that was great. I'm looking forward to our next conversation. So thanks so much for sticking around with us, okay?
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
See ya. Well, you are getting a live look at our Midtown cameras there, where things are nice and dry for now after a pretty wet start this morning. It's 59 degrees outside. When we come back in the next 60 seconds, we have more Action News 5 Digital Desk. Stay with us.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. It is time to announce some new exciting toys and trends for this year. Elizabeth Werner now is joining us. Tell us about some of the toys and trends that you got going on today.
All right, well, let's jump right in with Sticker Wow from Melissa and Doug. This is a new innovation, a fun way for kids to be able to play and learn with stickers. It comes with these adorable refillable sticker stampers. They all have cute personalities. Each one has 300 stickers inside. There's a 24-page activity pad, really fun and engaging. The kids are absolutely going to love it. Great for home or on the go, and by the way, perfect for the Easter basket. Now, Paw Patrol, so excited for this one because kids love all their favorite TV shows and movies. This is the #1 preschool property, and it's all about exciting rescues and adventures. The elephant tusk and wheels on this vehicle are going to be able to hit any obstacle, and then kids are going to be able to load up and project water wherever they need to by just pulling that trunk back and pushing a button. Lots of fun, and they're going to be able to reenact all their favorite scenes. Now, how about our gabbers? These are so adorable. Lots of fun for nurturing, brought to us by VTech. Now our kids are going to be able to talk and sing with these adorable ones. They actually can perch on our children's shoulder with a little magnetic egg they put right underneath their shirt, push their tummy for reactions, squeeze that little wing to get some singing, and they come in a variety of fun colors. Great for the Easter basket as well. Now, what about getting those kids to learn? This is the Get-Go Run Marble Run. So exciting to me. You take the old-fashioned marble runs, but bring it to a whole new level. These are really cool, flexible tracks. We're going to be able to build these. They have little suction pads that'll suction on to any flat surface, build what they want, arrange, rearrange, no glue, no mess. Great for learning engineering, physics in action, and the tracks are actually made from renewable raw materials, which is fabulous. So finally, for the little ones, they're learning to read. We want them to work on literacy. Learning Friends 100 Words book. Now they're going to be able to discover a whole new vocabulary with their fun little learning friends. They touch the different pages to hear the animals, lots of fun facts and sound effects, both English and Spanish when they flip that switch. All those words are chosen by learning experts. They're going to be working on pets, meal times, colors, opposites, and so much more. There's even music.
To the officer that was shot this morning, MPD officer, just got out of surgery. He's still in critical but stable condition. He's in recovery right now. But would also like to update you on the apprehension of the suspect that was involved in this incident. Suspect's name is Geronimo Key, approximately 22 years of age. Mr. Key was located in North Memphis in the Austin Peay area. He is in custody at this particular time. The vehicle that was involved in this incident was located approximately a mile away from the initial incident site in the Airways Station area. The vehicle has damage to it. The rear of the vehicle window was smashed out, indicating that possibly gunfire hit that window. Mr. Key had an injury to the hand, unknown right now. The cause of that particular injury, we don't know if it was from gunfire or if it was from some type of glass fragments from the actual incident. There are no other injuries at this particular time. This is still under investigation, and we will provide updates as the day goes on. Thank you.
Could you spell his name for me, please?
Yes. Geronimo is spelled Geronimo. Last name spelled Kee. Black male. Thank you.
You said he was the only one in the car, right?
He was the only one in the car. Thank you. Approximately 22 years old. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes, you just came up. Yes, so Geronimo. We'll push another update in writing.
All right, again, that was Interim Police Chief C.J. Davis there, just giving us an update on that police investigation that we've been following that started on 240 at South Parkway. So we have to hop out of that toy trend story to update you on that. And as she mentioned, the suspect has been located and is in custody. But got to update you, 240 at South Parkway, that's still an active investigation. So those lanes are still blocked for those of you who usually travel in that southbound direction. Again, you just heard from Interim Police Chief C.J. Davis. Now we're going to hop back into that Toy Trends story, because this is something, got some good information there. You definitely don't want to miss that. So let's go back to that segment.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. It is time to announce some new exciting toys and trends for this year. Elizabeth Werner now is joining us. Tell us about some of the toys and trends that you got going on today.
All right, well, let's jump right in with Sticker Wow from Melissa and Doug. This is a new innovation, a fun way for kids to be able to play and learn with stickers. It comes with these adorable refillable sticker stampers. They all have cute personalities. Each one has 300 stickers inside. There's a 24-page activity pad, really fun and engaging. The kids are absolutely going to love it. Great for home or on the go, and by the way, perfect for the Easter basket. Now, Paw Patrol, so excited for this one because kids love all their favorite TV shows and movies. This is the #1 preschool property, and it's all about exciting rescues and adventures. The elephant tusk and wheels on this vehicle are going to be able to hit any obstacle, and then kids are going to be able to load up and project water wherever they need to by just pulling that trunk back and pushing a button. Lots of fun, and they're going to be able to reenact all their favorite scenes. Now, how about our Gabbers? These are so adorable. Lots of fun for nurturing, brought to us by VTech. Now our kids are going to be able to talk and sing with these adorable ones. They actually can perch on our children's shoulder with a little magnetic egg they put right underneath their shirt, push their tummy for reactions, squeeze that little wing to get some singing, and they come in a variety of fun colors. Great for the Easter basket as well. Now, what about getting those kids to learn? This is the Get Go Run Marble Run. So exciting to me. You take the old-fashioned marble runs, but bring it to a whole new level. These are really cool, flexible tracks. We're going to be able to build these. They have little suction pads that'll suction on to any flat surface. Build what they want, arrange, rearrange, no glue, no mess. Great for learning engineering, physics in action, and the tracks are actually made from renewable raw materials, which is fabulous. So finally, for the little ones, they're learning to read. We want them to work on literacy. Learning Friends 100 Words book. Now they're going to be able to discover a whole new vocabulary with their fun little learning friends. They touch the different pages to hear the animals, lots of fun facts and sound effects, both English and Spanish when they flip that switch. All those words are chosen by learning experts. They're going to be working on pets, meal times, colors, opposites, and so much more. There's even music built in. And this one, another great one for the Easter basket. That's coming up.
I love it. I love it, Elizabeth. You just took the ball and ran with it. Okay, so are there any other trends that you see being an insider in the toy industry that you want to mention right now?
Yeah, so one of the ones that I touched on a little bit is that we are working really hard to start creating our toys from renewable raw materials. So these tracks are made from a bioplastic, which means they're made from plant. And we're going to start seeing this across the industry, and not only the toys themselves, but also the packaging. So looking to conserve and make the world a better place.
What about arts and crafts? Do you see any of those really coming to life in 2024?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So one of the examples was this sticker stamper, but parents are looking to get the kids back around the table, creating, using their imagination. So a lot of different mediums out there that the kids are going to be working with and creating not just 2D, but 3D items as well.
And I love the fact that you focused on toys that teach. Is that becoming a trend as well? I guess that's been a trend for several years now.
It really has, but one of the things that we used to see with Toys That Teach were that they were geared towards younger children. What we're excited to see now is that they're starting to build these Toys That Teach for older kids, keeping them engaged, keeping them off their tablets, building, and then learning about physics, engineering, but in a hands-on project that makes it a lot more fun.
Elizabeth, I love it. Where can we go for more information of some of the things you spoke about today?
Yes, you can go to our website, which is WernerInfo.com.
Okay, Elizabeth Werner, Toy Industry Insider. Thank you for the top toy trends for 2024. We appreciate the info. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Good Friday morning. Thanks so much for sticking with the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. We've been covering a lot of fun stories this morning, but we're also still providing you those updates on that police investigation. And it all started at 4 o'clock this morning when we were notified that an officer was shot. It was on 240 at South Parkway. Thankfully, that officer is now in non-critical condition, and the suspect has been captured. And that suspect is Germano P. We just heard from Interim Police Chief C.J. Davis with that update. Of course, we will continue to update you on that. In the meantime, 240 at South Parkway is still currently blocked off. All those lanes in that southbound direction are still blocked. The northbound direction doesn't look too bad for your morning drive. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor this situation throughout this morning segment on the Digital Desk. Since we're giving you updates, we also want to update you that on how to watch Action News 5, Action News 5 Plus. Over-the-air signal will change from 5.5 to 5.3. You won't need to rescan your TVs. You can still watch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and Roku. And you can also find us on digital channel 5.3 and 907 Xfinity. The time now is 9:52. We'll be right back in the next 60 seconds.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Today, keep an umbrella nearby. You may not need it all day long. There will be some periods of time where there won't be very much in the way of rainfall, but there will be other periods where it'll come down quick, fast, and in a hurry. Of course, this morning has been quite wet across the area, but we're running into a lull in the activity as we go through the coming hour. So rain chances will go down. Temperatures will ease back up through the middle 60s this afternoon. As we go through the overnight period and this evening, another uptick in rain chances will come as the last wave wave, the actual cold front itself, makes progress across the Mid-South heading towards the back end of the day into tonight. So there will be some rain and some storms to contend with and several different waves. And I want to reemphasize, not a one-size-fits-all forecast where it's going to rain across the board all day long. I don't think that's the case. The issue will be more so, again, periods of time where rain is going to be more dominant than other times, and then other times where it's going to be dry. It'll just be cloudy outside. But we can't rule it out that we can see an isolated gusty shower or storm. The chances are very low here today, and actually the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has removed the entire Action News 5 coverage area out of the slight and even the marginal risk, now down closer to the Jackson metropolitan area in Mississippi. That goes along with that idea of the warm front that's lifting northward, just not having a lot of success in getting too far to the north. It makes sense in this regard. Saturday looks to be quieter, drier as the storm system pushes off towards the east, and brighter skies on the way by Sunday. So let's go hour by hour with our First Alert Futurecast. Already starting to see things shutting down here across the Mid-South with the first wave of rain, but we've got another wave that will likely emerge as we head towards the afternoon hours. Some sporadic showers here and there, and then another wave develops as we head through this evening. See coming out of Arkansas. This will actually be closer to the cold front that will work its way across the area. Now again, can't rule it out. A gusty shower or storm. Can't rule it out here this afternoon into the early evening hours as the next wave kind of pivots across the area with more scattered showers and rumbles of thunder. They'll take us into the overnight period into the start of your Saturday. Again, temperatures today in the 60s through the course of your Friday. Tonight will drop down through the 50s. There will be still some lingering showers early Saturday morning, moving out, and eventually some clearing trends on the way, but it may take all day long for the clouds to begin to clear out, especially for if you live in places like Selmer and Corinth and Bolivar and Ripley, Mississippi, Oxford. I think it is going to be clouds all day long. Back to the west, Harrisburg, Colt, out towards Cherry Valley as well as Forest City. You might be able to catch a little sunshine before the sun goes down just after 6 p.m. Don't forget, we actually have a time change coming up Saturday night into Sunday, so you'll have to turn your clocks forward 1 hour. You don't want to be that person that's late to church walking down the aisle at an hour after church began. Of course, stay up to date with the weather information anytime and everywhere on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. Morning shower, afternoon sun breaks possible, but it's going to be more clouds than not. Highs in the 50s with a chilly northwest wind flowing through here at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Today, the wind's a little breezy out of the south and east, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Then we will turn cooler, but staying quiet. Sunday, mostly to partly sunny, highs in the middle and upper 50s, not looking half bad. Your 7-day forecast, again, rain and storms here today, off and on, continuing into the overnight period. Saturday, clouds early, some sun breaks for some late in the day, but I think most of us will just stay underneath the clouds through the majority of your day on Saturday. Fast forward, spring forward, Saturday night into Sunday, highs in the 50s, and here you go with the 60s and 70s on the way as we head towards early portions of next week. Germantown half marathon and Mayor's Cup 5K. There will be some road closures in Germantown that would include Wolf River Boulevard. And of course, given the situation with Germantown Road and Parkway, that area across the Wolf River with the bridge, this may cause some issues if you're going to be out and about early on your Saturday morning. But the Germantown Half Marathon, that will be throughout the morning hours. 7:30 is when things will kick off there. Temperatures in the 50s, a northwesterly wind coming in around 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to keep a small chance of a shower, but most of the rain should be out of the area by that point in time. 901 FC going up against Las Vegas, their home opener and season opener at AutoZone Park. The pitch may be a little moist after the soggy start to your Friday, and of course the next wave of rain that will likely impact the region going into the overnight period tonight heading into Saturday. 3 p.m. temperatures in the 50s and a northwesterly wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Things will start to calm down. You might see off in the distance, looking out to the west right before sunset, the clearing and the, of course, brighter skies. That will take us into your Sunday. Again, brighter skies there. High temperatures will top out in the upper 50s, mid 60s Monday. Don't forget Mississippi primary elections coming up on Tuesday. We kind of understand that on Tuesday, Mississippi, yeah, we already know the presidential election, but they're down ballot elections and primaries that will also be involved there. So again, you still need to get out there and vote in the primary elections on Tuesday. Again, that's for Mississippi. Arkansas and Tennessee already had their primary elections this past Tuesday. High near 70, low in mid 70s going into early next week. Getting ready for another chance for some rain and storms by the end of next week that could lead into St. Patrick's Day weekend. We'll watch that closely. Of course, the big parade here in Memphis, 2 p.m. on Saturday. Hopefully things are dry, but it looks to be a bit on the milder side, still in the 60s for highs by that point in time. But of course, we're still several days out. We'll keep you updated on that. Of course, stay weather aware with us today with the chances for rain and some rumbles of thunder rolling through the region that will continue into tonight before the clearing trend into the overnight period.
Right now, I want to talk about some of the amazing things to look forward to in 2024, one of which is the Memphis Showboats. Remember last year, the season? It was a slow start, but man, was it a lot of fun. They went on a tear, beating, 4 or 5 games in a row. I remember taking my son there. My wife and I had a blast. It was so enjoyable. And guess what? The new season is right around the corner. Memphis Showboats are back in Memphis, and I'm joined right now on the Action News 5 digital desk by the brand new head coach of your Memphis Showboats, John DeFilippo, joining us on the digital desk. John, how are you? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you guys too. It's great to be here, and I'm thrilled to be in Memphis. And by the way, that winning streak started. That winning streak started with my team last year, the New Orleans Breakers. We were 4-0, and they came in and beat us.
I remember that, John. So for people maybe who don't know a little bit about your background, you have extensive background, extensive coaching experience in the NFL and, as you just mentioned, the USFL. Can you talk a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. Been very fortunate in my coaching career. I've spent 15 years in the National Football League, mainly as a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator. And then I spent 7 years coaching Division I college football. Before that, been to the top of the mountain with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017. Very fortunate to win a Super Bowl with a great group of players and coaches and a great organization. And obviously got my first chance to be a head coach last year with the New Orleans Breakers and try to make the most of that opportunity. And we'll do the same here in Memphis.
Fantastic. Really excited. Yes, I'm very familiar with that run in 2017 and the New Orleans Breakers. Very good team last year, too. What can we expect from the Showboats this year? Because, there was a lot of excitement throughout the year and throughout the season. We didn't make the playoffs, but, it would be great to build upon that and eventually get in those playoffs.
Absolutely. This is going to be an exciting new league, and it's going to be, a lot of the best players from both leagues playing against each other. So we're going to bring an exciting brand of football. I think if you watched our New Orleans teams last year, we love to throw the football, and we love hard play action pass with shots down the field and a power run game. So that's what we're going to be on offense. On defense, that was one of the toughest defenses we went against last year, and that's why I kept Coach Carnell Lake as our defensive coordinator. And he'll do a great job again with this defense. And they did a great job of making us work and teams throughout the league last year work and kept the ball in front of them. And we're very, very stout in the run game. So we're going to be we're going to stop the run first and then have explosive pass gains along with running the football.
Let me ask you this, because it became official just a few days ago that the XFL and the USFL merged. It's now the United Football League. Does that change anything for the fan, or does that change anything from you and how you're going to coach?
Yeah, I think it changes a lot. To me, the whole landscape of spring football now is for the better because, unfortunately, there's going to be young men that don't have a chance to play in this league and coaches that don't have a chance to coach in this league. But at the same time, you're getting the best players from both leagues. And, I know in 2 years with the USFL, they put over 100 players in the National Football League. I mean, the team that we got beat by last year in the playoffs, the Birmingham Stallions, put 16 players in the National Football League last year alone. So you're going to see not only that amount of numbers of guys signing with NFL teams, but now with the XFL players coming over and us merging together, the brand of football is going to be better. It's going to be more exciting for the fans. And I'll tell you what, Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium is going to be lit up next year.
I can't wait. I'm getting excited just hearing you talk, John, and looking forward to it. So we got the first game, I believe, at the end of March. Tell me about the fan experience. I know it was so fan-friendly last year. As I mentioned off the top, I was there with my son, with my wife. We enjoyed the experience a great deal. Are we going to be seeing more of that, or is it going to be a little bit different? Tell me.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the fan experience is going to be like, but I know I liked the fan experience last year when we visited Memphis. I know, and it was a great atmosphere, and there's no doubt it's going to be fan-friendly. That's going to be a major, major piece of this league for sure. But what we can control is putting the product on the field to make the experience fun, because it's always more fun when you leave the stadium after your team wins. So that's what we're going to do our best to do.
That sounds fantastic. Anything? I know training camp. We're still weeks away from all of that. But can you talk a little bit about this team and what to expect? Is it, I know you're offensive-minded. We had a great defense. You're more of an offensive guy. What can we expect from the team? And maybe, I don't know, what kind of offense? Let's start there.
Yeah, sure. We're going to be mainly 3 wide receivers, okay, mainly. Offense, and our offense is very involved. We get our best playmakers the football as much as we can. We're very tight end friendly, and that's been proven throughout the course of my history with tight ends. I think you'll see our tight end room catch a lot of passes and do a great job. But like I said, we're going to be explosive. We're going to run to the football. We're not going to do everything right, but it's going to be fast, and it's going to be a lot of fun for our fans to watch.
That sounds fantastic, head coach John DeFilippo. Anything else you want to mention to the fans before we let you go? This is exciting. We can't wait.
Well, I'm just thrilled to be in a football crazed state like Tennessee and a football crazed town like Memphis. That's what gets me excited and should get our players excited as well. I mean, Memphis is an unbelievable town. It's a place I've spent some time in the past, and I'm just thrilled to be part of the community.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to have you, head coach John DeFilippo, new head coach of your Memphis Showboats. John, thanks so very much for joining us on the Digital Desk, and all the best in this upcoming season. We got Jennifer Chandler back in. Feels like it's been forever, Jennifer, since we talked with you. Glad to have you back. And a lot of people during Lent, during the Lenten season, they like to refrain from meat. And so I think your title of the best fish dishes across Memphis and the Mid-South is perfect. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. And first and foremost, happy Valentine's Day. And one of the reasons I wrote this story, because Valentine's Day falls on Ash Wednesday, which is a day of abstaining from meat. And then for the next 6 weeks, there will be abstaining from meat on Fridays. And so I thought I would, for those that are Catholic and observe those traditions, so I thought I'd compile this list for those people, as well as people who just love to eat fish, which I'm a big fan of fish dishes.
Me too. Me too. I'm with you. Let's go.
So the first one on my list, and first I actually have to say, this list was a little hard to put together in some respects because it's funny how many dishes have like bacon in it or chicken stock or pork. So all the dishes on this list that we're going to talk about today, I have a full list of 10 up on the commercialappeal.com, but all of them are meat free. So there's no pork and no chicken stock, no meat in them at all. So these are all Lent approved, or if people are avoiding pork approved, fish dishes. So the first one on my list is at Dory Restaurant in Brookhaven Circle. And this dish it's called scallops and mussels. And it is a very kind of simple dish, but done so well. I mean, it is just sublime. It is perfectly seared scallops and with a few perfectly cooked mussels that are served over a just creamy, perfectly cooked risotto. A citrus beurre blanc kind of ties it all together. It's one of those dishes that I say kind of exemplifies why Chef David Krog over at Dory is one of the best chefs in Memphis, because he can make something so simple be so elevated. And it's really, really one of my favorite dishes there and something that I order every time I go. So next on my list is Tsunami. So Tsunami has this dish. Their roasted sea bass is kind of been it's a quintessential Memphis fish dish that makes pretty much every best fish dish list in Memphis for decades now. I think that Chef Ben Smith put it on his very first menu and he has never been able to take it off because people always complain because it is so beloved. And again, simple dish with everything done perfectly. He takes and pan sears a piece of sea bass until it has this golden crust that you can see in this photo. So delicious. And he serves it over the black tie rice, which if you've not had this, it's like this kind of like sticky, nutty flavored rice that's so flavorful. And then it's all kind of tied together with a soy beurre blanc butter sauce. And again, pretty much 3 components make up this dish, but it is one of those things that is so wonderful. And again, a dish when I go to this restaurant that I order very, very, very often. Moving along, if you like crab, the next 2 dishes are going to be ones you're going to want to check out. Coastal Fish Company has my favorite crab cake in the city of Memphis. It is like all crab, very little binder. You can see from the picture that it is just like pieces of jumbo lump crab meat, kind of lightly held together. It's served with a stone ground mustard sauce that is actually, you think stone ground mustard, it might be strong flavored. It actually is kind of perfectly tempered and is a great complement to the crab cakes there. And one of the other things that I love about this dish is, as you can see in this photo, it has the corn. The corn is like a bruleed corn. So it's like cream of corn, like good old Southern cream of corn. And they kind of put, I guess, some sugar on top and brulee it and add this like crunch to it. And it is so decadently good. One of my things that I like to tell people about Coastal Fish Company, and I shouldn't tell it too much, I can't believe I'm going to give my secret away, is that make a reservation around sunset. So that I swear that restaurant has the most beautiful sunset view in the city of Memphis, because it's sitting there right in Shelby Farms on the banks of Hyde Lake. And it is just a stunning sunset. So in the winter, that means you got to have dinner a little bit early. The early bird special, as I always call it, at like 5:30 or so. But in the winter, in the summer months, you can definitely do it later. But, I always try to plan my reservation there about 30 minutes before sunset. So that we can be enjoying a glass of wine and an appetizer as the sun is setting for one of the most beautiful views in the city of Memphis. Moving on, Dim Sum King. So this restaurant over on Summer Avenue is one of my favorite restaurants to go to with a group and do family style because there's so many things on the menu and so much to choose from. It's much more fun to do it with these large plates that come family style, so you can try a little bit of everything. And the dish for them that I chose was their Hong Kong style crab. So this is a dish where they basically, it's very impressive when it comes to the table, but it is basically fried crab legs and pieces of crab, kind of tempura fried, and it's served with what they call their XO sauce, which is just this flavorful sauce that has a little bit of a kick, but not too much of a kick. And it's kind of garnished with things like jalapeno and some dried onion, and there are other kind of seasoning blends that they put on, and it's just really kind of a fun dish to share at the table. And one of the things that, they take their seafood very seriously at this particular Chinese restaurant. When you walk in the door, of course, the first thing you're going to see is a tank full of eels. I don't know if I'm going to be eating eel, but if you look along the other wall, there's an entire wall full of fresh seafood that is swimming around. So the crabs and the lobsters and the fish that you eat come from those tanks. So it is as fresh as you can get. And as I said, this is a really fun restaurant to go. That would be a good Galentine's spot for Valentine's Day, but it would also be a fun thing to do with a bunch of your friends on an evening to go and share these dishes. And then last on my list is biscuits and jams. So if you've not been to this brunch spot in Bartlett, you need to check it out. It is such a great concept. Monique Williams is the chef and the owner, and it is all about breakfast, lunch, and brunch here. And she makes it fun. She makes her homemade biscuits, and then the jam. She also makes homemade jams, but they're also fun tunes playing. And she has one of my favorite breakfast dishes in town. This shrimp and crawfish Creole Benedict is just really, really sublime. The sauce with the crawfish and the shrimp is just, reminiscent of something you would have in New Orleans. It's super flavorful. But one of the things I really love about it is instead of using the traditional English muffins for the Benedict, what she does is she makes a kind of like a cheddar grits cake. So it is almost like think grits meets hash browns. So it's kind of like this crispy exterior and this soft interior. And then she puts this garlicky spinach on top, and then the egg, and then the sauce. And it's really yummy, yummy, yummy. And a shout out for Monique that she is about to open a second biscuits and jams downtown. It will be coming downtown probably later this spring, so be on the lookout for that. So those are 5 of my favorite ones that I picked. There are 5 more that you need to check out at commercialappeal.com when you're thinking about where you want to go for a delicious fish dish this time of year, during Lent, or any time of year.
Yes, I'm someone that loves fish. Growing up in South Florida, I love all seafood. And so I've only been to Coastal Fish and Tsunami there to get their fish dishes. So I'm excited to check out some more. And it's just, I can't wait to check out the other 5 on commercialappeal.com/food.
Yes, this was a fun one for me to do because I love all of these things. I just think that, fish any time of the year is a great thing, and Memphis restaurants do it really, really well. So think beyond the barbecue, and we're gonna make ourselves be known as the fish city. How about that?
I love it. I love it. Jennifer Chandler, as always, thank you so much for all the insight into the best dishes in Memphis, and this time, the best fish dishes that we love. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. Are you having fun yet? We've been covering a lot of stories from health to consumer news to some of the events happening across the Mid-South. Now we're going to switch gears. Of course, we told you earlier March is National Women's History Month, but did you know March is also endometriosis month? That's a very long word. But here to speak with me this morning is Dr. Patrick Cleeden with the St. Francis Medical Partners. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for sticking around with us. You can probably speak more to this than I can, but tell me, what is endometriosis?
Endometriosis is a condition where the endometrial tissue, which is what normally makes the lining of the uterus, is found outside of the uterus. And that tends to create a condition where there's pelvic pain that can be cyclic or chronic, and it can also cause pain with intercourse and even infertility.
Okay, so what are some of the common symptoms there?
Most common symptoms would be pelvic pain and cyclic pelvic pain. The other symptoms that we see, like I said, are sometimes pain with intercourse and sometimes even infertility due to some of the consequences of the endometrial tissue.
So talk to me a little bit about some of the treatment options for this.
So there are medical treatment options, and that include pain control options with non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. There are hormonal options like birth control. There's even surgical options to go in and remove some of the endometrial tissue and some of the scar tissue that is abnormal.
Okay, so are there any lifestyle changes you can make to help alleviate the chances of you getting endometriosis?
Unfortunately, there aren't any specific lifestyle interventions that can be done to prevent it. It's something that is treatable once it's identified and treated.
As you mentioned earlier, did you say there is no cure, right?
There's no known cure, but there are some treatments that have varying levels of effectiveness for patients.
Okay, so how can people learn more about this?
So if you have symptoms such as chronic pain that tends to get worse around the time of your cycle, if you are experiencing problems with infertility, I would recommend talking to your provider and seeing if it fits the clinical picture, and then they can talk to you about treatments that may improve your symptoms and establish a firm diagnosis.
Oh, I love that. And it's never too early to learn about things like this. What's the age bracket to where it can impact you?
The most common age range is women of reproductive age. It's rarely seen outside of that in women who are younger or older, but for the most part, it is typically women of reproductive age who are having menstrual cycles that tend to notice this type of pain.
Okay, great information there, Dr. Cleeden. Is there any additional information you can tell us that I did not ask you today?
The big thing would be, like I said, just stay in touch with your provider and know that this is a treatable condition, and there are things that can be done to help improve your quality of life.
All righty. Again, that was Dr. Patrick Cleeden. Thank you so much for stopping by the Digital Desk today
Thank you.
and speaking with us. See ya.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us back here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. We've got some things to chat about and another special guest joining us. We've got Carly Knobloch. I'm sorry, Carly, I hope I am saying your name right. You'll correct me here in just a few. But Carly's joining us to talk about some home trends. Now, you are a tech lifestyle expert.
Did you know that 64% of Americans typically abandon their New Year's resolution within the first month? That doesn't surprise me at all. And you know what's at the top of the list typically? It has to deal with getting in shape, and it also has to deal with your financial shape. You got to get in your financial shape. And so many people just abandon this after that first month. Well, it's time to get back on track when it comes to your finances. And here to help us out is the founder of the Fiscal Femme. We are joined now by Ashley Feinstein Gerstley. Thank you for joining us, Ashley. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
No, I appreciate it. So let's talk about the number one tip to getting our budgets back on track. It is,
Well, a total solar eclipse for 2024 is coming up on April 8th. It's also known as the Great American Solar Eclipse. I want to tell you what exactly a solar eclipse is and then how it's going to be impacting the Mid-South. Let's start with what a solar eclipse is. It's when the moon moves in between the sun and the earth. When it does, it actually creates a localized shadow on the face of the earth. You can see it moving. That's actually exactly where this total solar eclipse is going to be taking place on April 8th. Let's talk about how this impacts the Mid-South, because the path of totality where it's going to be seeing that 100% darkness during the day is actually very close to the Mid-South. It's going to be impacting portions of Texas up into central Arkansas and then passing just to our north as well. Here in the Mid-South, we're going to be seeing anywhere between 90 even up to 98%. Now, when exactly can you step outside and see this? Well, the total eclipse is going to be happening again on April 8th. It's going to be anywhere between 1:55 p.m. into the 2 o'clock hour. So make sure to mark your calendars and make sure to buy your eclipse glasses to be able to view it safely.
Alrighty, thanks so much, Maggie. And as Maggie just put it, next month, people across the United States are in for a very special treat, as a solar eclipse will be visible across the entire country. From coast to coast, people will soon see the moon slowly move in front of the sun, blocking some of its light into a partial eclipse. But for more than 31 million people across 15 states, they will see the moon completely cover the sun in a total solar eclipse, briefly turning day into night. And there's no better person to come with us today to speak about this than NASA expert Dr. Patrick Cohen. Good morning to you, and how are you? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks so much for joining us. This is a big deal, right? Wouldn't you say?
Oh, I would say this is a big deal. Eclipses happen regularly, but most of the time they don't happen where anyone can see them. So the fact that it's heading right across the middle of the country is a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, and there are different types of eclipses. Tell us a little bit about how this one will be so different.
Well, this is going to be if you're in the path of totality, you're going to see a total solar eclipse. So the moon will be completely covering the sun, and all you'll be able to see is the corona. It's that wispy outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere. It's going to turn day into night, and we're expecting, of course, temperatures to change, animals to start behaving differently, and so on. If you're not in the path of totality, you're still going to get a great show. That'll be a partial solar eclipse. So the moon will only partially block the light coming from the sun. You'll still see the light change. You'll still see the temperature go down a bit. It won't be quite as intense as it is at totality. But the primary difference is how you can view those two events. We're really emphasizing safety, so using these special solar viewing glasses is really, really important during the partial phases of the eclipse. During totality, you can actually take them off and see them.
Oh, great advice there. You mentioned animals. Tell me a little bit about how this will impact wildlife.
Well, the wildlife mostly will all of a sudden think it's becoming nighttime. So birds will return to roost. You may see bats flitting about. The animals in wooded areas, we imagine animals would be returning back to their homes. Essentially, they think it's bedtime. And then 4 minutes later, it's morning again. So they'll get up, and so we're expecting birdsong to change and things like that.
Great advice there. And I noticed that you put out those glasses for those who probably need to grab a batch. Where can they pick those up from?
Actually, I have been seeing these in grocery stores even. You can get them at libraries, museums, and a number of places, but depending on where you are, you probably can walk down to the local grocery store and pick them up. If you don't have them, there are other safe ways that you can view the eclipse using a pinhole camera. Take a piece of paper, poke a hole in it, you're good to go.
Oh, that's pretty easy there. Today is International Women's Day. How have women been a part of solar studies?
Women have been part of science for a long time, and in solar studies, even more so. In fact, it was a woman that discovered that the sun was primarily hydrogen. I can push that even a little bit further and say Dr. Nikki Fox who is the associate administrator for the Science Mission Directorate. That's the science arm of NASA. She and I actually started at NASA on the same day. She was the division director of heliophysics back then, and now she has moved up to AA. So we're fiercely proud of her.
Great. So for those who are interested in learning more before the big day, how can they better prepare themselves to just become more involved and engulfed in what they should expect?
Well, the best place to go to see what to expect and see what kind of events are going on is go.nasa.gov/eclipse2024. There's a place on the in there. In fact, you could even type in your zip code. It'll give you what time the eclipse starts, what time it ends, and all of the other good stuff. Depending on where you are, there are NASA sponsoring events all along the eclipse path. So we're really hoping people just get out and take a moment to experience this singular event.
Oh, great advice and things there. Was there anything else that you wanted to discuss that I did not ask you today?
Well, we touched on it, the safety of viewing an eclipse. If you look at the sun with unprotected eyes, the retinas will get damaged very, very quickly. But with these special glasses that you can pick up, they block the vast majority of light coming in from the sun. So during the partial portion of the eclipse, or if you're just seeing a partial eclipse during that period, you got to have those on. But during totality, you can actually take those off. But if you're not in the path of totality, please don't take them off. They have to stay on to keep your eyes safe.
Great advice. That was Dr. Patrick Cohen with NASA Research. Thanks so much for speaking with us today. Looking forward to chatting with you again in the future.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, taking you outside this morning where it's about 62 degrees out there. When we come back in the next 60 seconds, we have more Action News 5 Digital Desk. Stay with us.
Did it say 60 on there?
Well, thanks for sticking with us right here on the Action News 5 digital desk this morning. We've got a lot to chat about today, but we're going to be focusing on something that's important to everyone, and that is access to healthcare. We've got a very special person in here to join us here on the digital desk. Here with me this morning, it looks like we've got Dr. Kendra Shepard here with us. Dr. Shepard, how are you doing this morning? Thanks for joining the digital desk.
Hi, thank you. Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you as well. Let's get right to it. We're talking about healthcare access. I want to say specifically in communities of color. So can you kind of talk to me about the impacts and why communities of colors are so deeply impacted?
Yes, so, our community is so deeply impacted because we already at baseline have healthcare disparities, and that traditionally relates to access, cultural barriers, and even stigma and medical mistrust. So when we think about African Americans, for example, they tend to have higher rates of high blood pressure, of diabetes, and sometimes that's compounded in our older adults because of historically they have been marginalized.
And so I know we talk about medical mistrust. That is a big issue
Yes.
in the Black community, especially. What should people in this community be doing to combat that? Or is this a conversation amongst doctors in the medical field?
Yes, it's yes to both. Like we definitely have to have community discussions about it. I'm a strong proponent and believer that doctors should be at the head of that conversation, being really honest about some of the things that happened, such as the Tuskegee syphilis study and even the sterilization of our Black women who did not want that, so acknowledging the past, but also acknowledging the present. And even at the individual level, just being open to hear the concerns of the patient. I often ask them, what's holding you back? Because sometimes it's not the price of the medicine, sometimes it's not medicine in general. And so just figuring out what their experience is. And if they're honest enough and they say, well, my mom died in the hospital and I didn't know why. And so navigating that conversation becomes easier. It's like, okay, and now I can address it on an individual basis. And then from the community side, just understanding all of the things that have been put in place to prevent some of those things that happened in the past from happening again.
Dr. Shepard, I know we talk about these conversations, I should say, but what else is happening right here in Memphis to end that medical mistrust?
Yeah, so here individually, with Dedicated Senior Medical Center, we do have what we call patient care advocates and our social workers. And so we try to bridge that gap of the patients and their needs. And so a lot of times they'll be like, I'm not giving out, my social security number, and so when we explain like, hey, no, I agree with you. And this is how we keep your information safe. But we also need to fill out these forms so that we can get you the access and the care that you need. And so walking them through the process is something that we do and that helps decrease the mistrust and increase the trust, and just really going and explaining, and then bridging with those partners, with those community partners who are out there, like Shelby Cares, for example, and saying, hey, we've got a partner. We can't do everything, right? But we have this partner, and here we can get this diabetes education. Here we can explain how we can prevent you from losing your foot, for example, So those are the things that we're doing as a community and both as a center to bridge that gap.
Now, Dr. Shepard, what advice do you have to the folks who are watching this morning when it comes to bridging those barriers for either themselves or their loved ones? I know we've got folks watching all over, not just in Memphis. So if a family member is seeing this and they are like, I need to help my aunt, cousin, whoever in Memphis, what should they be doing?
What you really have to do is find a person, whether it's a person, a center, or an organization, who you can trust. And I know sometimes trust takes time to build, but you have to sometimes go in at face value and say, hey, I need help. If you're not the one who can help me, tell me who can. So here at Dedicated, what we do is we actually have patients come to the center, do a tour so they can meet the people who are in the clinic, they can meet the doctor, they can see what they're getting into first, before they sign up with us. And then we take that to the next step of, okay, here are the community resources. So if you're not here in Memphis, what I encourage you to do is go to your doctor, have that conversation with the doctor and say, hey, my aunt needs help. I can't get her to come to the doctor. What other resources do you have? Because there are places that do home visits. There are other areas. Okay, well, they won't go to the doctor, but they might come to this health fair. And so that's a way that we can engage them. Okay, is their church a community partner? And so if we get them there and then they meet, and those are the things that you do. Look in your community to see who is it, because word of mouth is our best advertiser, right? And so getting out there and finding, and so word of mouth for us has also been the same, but we try to make that connection at the very beginning when they first join.
Much for your time. And I believe now you can hear me. There we go, Dr. Shepard. Thank you so much for your time with Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Really appreciate you joining us right here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. Did you have fun today? It was a lot of fun covering some of the health news, consumer news, and of course those live interviews that we had this morning. Of course, now we're going to take you outside. If you are just now tuning in, 240 South Parkway is back open for you to travel in that direction. So you are in good shape. Those of you traveling in the southbound and northbound direction, all your lanes are open for you. And another friendly reminder on how you can watch us, an update to the Action News 5 Plus over-the-air signal. It will change from 5.5 to 5.3. Now you can still watch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and Roku. And you can also find us on digital channel 5.3 and 907 on Xfinity. So guys, a lot of great things we covered this morning. I'm going to take you outside where it's 62 degrees. And of course, a lot to look forward to, a lot of fun events happening this weekend. But also, you have to look forward to, what is it, Jacob? Is it April 6th or 8th? The 8th, okay, where we have that solar eclipse. I'm going to just give you another update on what you can expect for those of you who will be able or want to watch it. So let's tune in with meteorologist Maggie McCauley for an update on what you can expect for the total solar eclipse.
Well, a total solar eclipse for 2024 is coming up on April 8th. It's also known as the Great American Solar Eclipse. I want to tell you what exactly a solar eclipse is and then how it's going to be impacting the Mid-South. Let's start with what a solar eclipse is. It's when the moon moves in between the sun and the earth. When it does, it actually creates a localized shadow on the face of the Earth. You can see it moving. That's actually exactly where this total solar eclipse is going to be taking place on April 8th. Let's talk about how this impacts the Mid-South, because the path of totality, where it's going to be seeing that 100% darkness during the day, is actually very close to the Mid-South. It's going to be impacting portions of Texas up into central Arkansas, and then passing just to our north as well. Here in the Mid-South, we're going to be seeing anywhere between 90 even up to 98%. Now, when exactly can you step outside and see this? Well, the total eclipse is going to be happening again on April 8th. It's going to be anywhere between 1:55 p.m. into the 2 o'clock hour. So make sure to mark your calendars and make sure to buy your eclipse glasses to be able to view it safely.
All righty, thanks so much, Maggie McCauley. Well, coming up on midday, we have Action News 5 Sydney Gray. She has all the latest updates, especially to that police investigation that we were following on 240 at South Parkway, and some other developing stories, including a look at that bridge closure that's coming up this Sunday on the I-55 bridge. Again, thanks so much for tuning in on the Digital Desk. I'm Taylor Tucker in for Andrew Douglas. Enjoy the rest of your day.